Do you want to trust enough that you truly feel happy and lighthearted? Well, stick around because we're doing our third in a series of 6 on A Course in Miracles, Developing Trust. Well, welcome back to the channel if you are a returning subscriber, follower, or friend. If you're new, we are in the middle of a 6-part Developing Trust series. And this is the third one. There will be three more after this. So if you've missed number 1 and number 2, please go back. You can still watch this one, it's fine, but definitely go back and I will put those in the card right up there, okay? But first things first, if you've been watching, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Before we get to our Course in Miracles work, is I've shaved all my hair off, just so you know. You know, it's pretty obvious I've shaved my hair off. So if you want to know the real story about that whole thing, you can go to look at the live that I did this week. And it's a fun story. But yeah, so no hair. But it's good. All right. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about the third period in the Manual for Teachers in the Course in Miracles, which is in the back of the Course in Miracles. And this step, or this period, is really important. This one is really important. They're all important. But this whole series addresses the whole idea about trust, the whole idea about having a foundation of trust in your life, trust of yourself, trust of universe, God, source, that everything is working out. Because when you have trust in your life, I am telling you, everything changes. Everything will change when you really have trust in your life. And what I love about A Course in Miracles is it gives you very specific and detailed descriptions about how to do all these things. And remember, the Course in Miracles has one goal and one goal only, and that is your peace of mind. All right? Okay, so let's get to it. Let's do a quick review about what step 1 and step 2 were, okay? So I have it written it's right here. It's right here. This is my book, just so you know. All right, so the first step in the development of trust is the period of undoing. Now remember, the period of undoing is the time that you have to be like, something's not working. I have to undo something. I am completely in fear. I'm completely, I'm not trusting myself. Something has to change. It's kind of like when someone that's an alcoholic finally says, I gotta go to AA. This is the period of undoing, when you go, I have to do something. Something's got to be undone here, because if I keep going this way, I'm going to never find my peace. I'm going to stay in frustration and anxiety and blame and all of that stuff, right? So that's number 1, the period of undoing. Number 2, the second period, is the period of sorting out. The period of sorting out. This is when you have to look at your life and you have to say, in your life and also in the world, what is valuable and what is valueless? And you have to start to see about, in another way of looking at it on some level, not sure if I should say this, but I will, what has worked towards your peace and what has not worked to your peace, towards your peace in your life. And that is beliefs, that's relationships, that's perceptions, that's experiences. So ultimately, you have to look at what's valuable and what's valueless. And that is the period of sorting out. You sort out the valuable from the valueless. All right? So now we're all caught up to speed with period of 1 and period of 2. So we'll go to the next period. Okay, now we're going to get to what we came here for today. The third period, or the third step in developing your trust. This is the period of relinquishment. The period of relinquishment. And it is exactly what it feels like it is. It is the time when you sorted out what's valuable, what's valueless, and now it's the time that you have to start to let go. You have to relinquish these things that you've held valuable, these things that these beliefs, these thoughts, these ways of being in your life that are not valuable. So this is the time of relinquishment. So let me just read a little bit. We're going to break this down as we go. So the third stage, which the teacher of God must go through, can be called the period of relinquishment. Sorry, I say that 10 times. The period of relinquishment. If this is interpreted, listen to this, if this is interpreted as giving up the desirable, it will engender enormous conflict. So if you look at this time, when you have to start to relinquish and let go of different things, and it looks like, and it feels to you like I'm giving away something that I really wanted, that's desirable, that I really want, then it's going to be kind of tough. It's going to be kind of tough. And let me tell you, you will. There are going to be things that you're going to have to be like, I got to let go of that. If I really want peace, I have to let go of that. If I really want peace, I have to see this differently. And that's why he says right there, it will engender enormous conflict. Let's keep going. Few teachers of God escape this distress entirely. Few teachers of God escape this distress entirely. So just as you're doing this work, and I'd recommend that you do this work with a teacher, with a coach, with somebody, so that you can see, I'm letting go of this, I'm letting go of that. But it's kind of hard to do this and be like, yeah, here's a belief I've held on to the last 30 years, and I'm just going to let it go. It's not hard. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So that's what he says. It will engender enormous conflict. Few teachers will escape this distress entirely. There is, however, he says, no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless unless the next obvious step is taken. So the next obvious step, obviously, is letting go. Take a deep breath. You have to let go. It's not easy, but you can do it. Your ego has been holding on to these things. The reason you don't trust is that you've been holding on to these fears, onto these ideas, onto these perceptions, and those are the things that are keeping you from having that open, beautiful sense of trust, of flow in your life, right? So it's really important that you have to understand that it's going to be a little bit difficult. So it might not be. Listen, let me just say it might not be. But it probably will be at least a little bit difficult. Okay? All right, let's keep reading. This line is a little heavy. So it's all kind of a little heavy, but I just want to stop here. On a true spiritual awakening path, you have to look at what is the problem. You have to see what the problem is. You have to look at it square in the eye and say, I look at you. I'm not going to run away from you anymore. I'm not going to pretend like you're not here anymore. I'm going to look at you straight in the eye and I'm going to say, where is my power? Where is my power? Okay? So let's read this next thing. He says, therefore, the period of overlap between the valuable and the valueless is apt to be one in which the teacher of God feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of the truth. The teacher of God, that's you, that's me, feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interest on behalf of the truth. This is where it's hard. So, and I keep saying, this is just this part, but it'll change. Listen, it'll change as I keep reading. Don't worry. There is no sacrifice. And I know that's hard. In the Course in Miracles, he says there are two states that are the most, that keep you further away from your connection with Source, with God, with love, than anything. And one of them is sacrifice, and the other is, do you know what it is? Guilt. So guilt and sacrifice are two of the states that keep you further. You're never really far away, but in conscious contact with your flow, with love, with joy, with peace, right? sacrifice. So you're going to think that if I let go of this idea, let's just take something very... Okay, so what if you had the belief that it was valuable that you... I'm sure this isn't any of you, but listen, that you were like, I need to win at all costs. I need to win at all costs. And you realize, because you want to trust more and you realize you want to change your life, that I have to let go of this idea that I have to win at all costs. That can be very hard. And you will feel like you're sacrificing because your identity is connected to this idea that I need to win at all costs. Does that make sense? So you're going to start to feel like I'm sacrificing who I am. This is a very obvious one, but there are many more subtle ones as you do the work, that you're going to sacrifice who you are if you let go of this perception or this thought or this belief. So you feel like you're going to sacrifice on behalf of the truth. The truth. Remember, all great spiritual awakening, or not great, that's not good. That's not good. All true spiritual awakening, enlightenment, realization comes from knowing the truth. We're just trying to move everything out of the way so we can have the conscious contact with the truth again, right? So he says, he has not yet realized, me, while we're doing this, as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be, meaning there is no sacrifice. There is no sacrifice, as I said before, in you letting go of an idea that you've held on to for so long. It's not easy, but there is no sacrifice in that at all. I'm going to keep reading because I was going to say something, but let's keep going. He can learn this only as he actually does give up the valueless. When you actually let go of things that aren't valuable, you start to learn, oh my God, wait a second. Something's different. I don't have to make winning at all costs a priority. And then I have relief. What comes back in the Course in Miracles over and over and over is what? Do I want to be right or do I want to be peaceful? So every time that you realize needing to be right is valueless, and if you give it up, and you really do that right now and say, I would rather have peace instead of being right, once again, you feel that connection, you feel that relief, so you're not losing anything when you let go of this valueless idea or this belief that you might have, right? So, he's not realized, he can learn this only through actually giving up the valueless. Now, this is the really good part. Now, you've hung out with me so far, so keep holding on because we're going to finish this right now with something really good. Okay, so before I get to this part, I just want to remind you, if you have not subscribed here and you want to know more about me, you can look here, or you can go to attractpositiveresults.com. I've been doing this for many, many years. I've been a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles for over 38 years. I kind of know what I'm talking about, but I'm still on the path just like you are. So please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And share this with people that you might know. All right? And also, well, make the comments, but I'll say that later. But I told you that we were going to get to the good part. Now this is the good part. So you go through this whole thing about I've got to let go of this idea because it's not bringing me peace. This doesn't feel right. I've got to let go of it. And it's hard, it's difficult. But when you start to do it, like what I said, when you start to allow yourself to be like, I'd rather be peaceful than be right in this situation, you let go and you have this relief. And this is how he explains it in this period of relinquishment. Through giving up those things that you thought was valuable, he learns that where he anticipated grief, he finds a happy lightheartedness instead. So you're like all scared, like, oh my God, I don't know about letting go of that idea because it's so much about. But when you do, you find lightheartedness, you find relief, you find a sense of happiness, right? Where he thought something was asked of him, he finds a gift bestowed on him. So the egoic mind is going to always, with this trust stuff, is always going to be like, you're letting go of your essential self, you're letting go of who you are. If you let go of that, something's wrong, and you won't know who you are, you'll lose yourself. Maybe not in those words, but that's the feeling. So that's why you hold on. And the tighter the grip, right, the less you trust. The more open the grip, the more you trust. So you think, your ego thinks, that something's going to be asked of you. It's going to be really hard. But instead, what you'll find is that you get a gift of relief. You get a gift of joy. You get a gift of contentment. Right? This is really important. Because no matter what, as you're going through your life, I've said it before and I'll say it 5 million more times. One of the most important things you can do in your life is to develop your capacity to trust. Because when you develop your capacity to trust, your life changes. How you see the world changes. How you see yourself changes. How you see others changes. It all changes. And in such a sweet, beautiful, lighthearted way that it doesn't matter anymore. You're not like, oh my God, I got to get what I need. They have to do this, and this has to do that, and all that stuff, right? It's just not there anymore. And what replaces it is this never-ending trust. Okay, so that is the period of relinquishment, which is the third period of 6 of developing trust according to A Course in Miracles. I hope this has made you think about some things. Please put the comments below. I answer every comment, and I really appreciate you being here. I hope that anything that we've talked about has either made you think or made you maybe go, look, or given you some relief. I'm not sure what it is. Everything that we do here is to help you to find that flow, find that joy. So if you have any questions or comments, once again, please put them below. I will answer. All right. We'll be back, and I will do number 4. I won't give it away. You could always look for it. It's in the manual for teachers in the back of Course in Miracles. But we'll be back with that. Okay. Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And remember, today could be the best day of your life. That's the truth. And I will talk to you really soon.